A handsome man always appears around 2 a.m. in the morning, but then he begins to appear more than usual at the same time. Please be kind to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to friends and family to help this content grow so I can bring out more stories. Thank you. My name is Veronica, and I had this unforgettable, horrific encounter a few years ago. When I was working in a retail store as an overnight manager, I have been promoted to a manager position about 2 years before the event that changed my entire life. Until this day, when I still think about what had happened during those moments when I'm alone, especially during midnight when I can't fall asleep in bed. It was a shift I was working overnight with only 3 employees along with me, but unfortunately, that day, 2 of them called off due to some fake excuses to not come to work because I found out they were related to each other. The employee who was working with me was an older lady in her early 60s. She often comes every day to work and never calls out one time since I became the overnight manager. Her name was Elma, and she was a hardworking lady and very friendly. We became close friends as I worked with her every overnight shift. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning when I had to take my lunch. I clock out and head outside to grab my lunchbox in the car when I had forgotten to bring it with me earlier when I first started my shift because I was rushing to come clock in due to being 5 minutes away from being violated. My car was parked outside of the store right next to Elma's car. I unlock my car and open my door, leaning inside to grab my lunch bag on the passenger side seat. Just as I pull out the lunch bag before standing back up, I catch a stranger standing by the sidewalk next to the pole light, like he was waiting for someone to come pick him up. Though I wasn't bothered to think why he would be standing there in middle of the night. He was dressed in a dark jacket with black jeans and a white polo shirt. He appears really young, possibly around his mid-20s, having short, spiky hairstyle. He looks Hispanic from far away next to the pole light. I was too in a rush to go back into the store. I lock the door when walking back into the store. That second locking the door, I can see the young stranger staring in my direction. I just walked away eventually after locking the front door entrance and left back to the office. When I got to the office, I headed to check on the security camera if he was still standing outside. Though it appears he wasn't there anymore by the pole light. Maybe he had left already, or his ride may already pick him up while I was still walking back to the office. After working for 2 hours, it was lunchtime. I have already eaten my food during work time, which I wasn't allowed to do, but I always steal my way to do it anyway. I needed some fresh air, so I left outside through the front door entrance after unlocking it. I went to sit inside my car, leaving the door open and look into my phone. It was actually windy outside, so I felt very cool off quickly. I just needed to stay outside for 10 minutes, then I decided to get out of my car. The second I got out of my car, it appeared the young stranger was standing at the back of my car towards the edge, looking at me. He startled me by standing like that when I thought he left home already. He apologized to me that he scared me, which he didn't mean to. He said he saw me earlier when I was grabbing my lunch bag, and I told him the same thing that I saw him too. This led me to asking him why I was even here all night. He didn't answer my question. Instead, he introduced himself all of a sudden, saying his name was Mark. He appears very handsome in some way from my eyes when talking nicely to me, asking, "How was work?" I told him, "Work is so and so, like, nothing importantly new except myself trying to work enough hours to pay my bills." He told me to keep up the hard work, like he was encouraging me by making me happy. I thank him just as he walks away. I close my car door and lock it before heading back to the store. The second I got to the door, I caught something from behind me from the reflection of the door glass, which was Mark, who had come upon behind me unexpectedly. I turn around and catch him standing in front of me, smiling for a few seconds, before asking if I will be working tomorrow midnight again. I was thinking, why was he acting a little awkward by just asking me this out of nowhere? He just wanted to surprise me and have a little chat with me if I do work tomorrow again. I was getting happy, so I didn't hesitate to tell him I will be here again tomorrow. This even got him excited too, saying he'll see me tomorrow at the same time. I ask what he means at the same time. Mark mentioned that he will come by around 2 a.m. He suddenly just turned away and left me. I smiled and went back into the store after unlocking the door open. When I got off work, he wasn't there anymore, so I thought he had left home for sure this time. On the next night, working during my first break again around 2 a.m., I purposely head outside just to see if I would run into Mark. Apparently, he was nowhere to be seen, so I went to stand by my car and reach into my cell phone from my back pocket and touch the internet. I stood there for a few minutes, touching my phone, and still, he hasn't even shown up at all. I was losing hope, thinking he probably wouldn't even come by to talk this late. I then closed my cell phone and put it back behind my back pocket. I needed to check if my car was locked before going back inside. The second I turned around, I saw Mark standing from the other side of my car in front of the passenger door, just gazing at me with his eyes opening up wide. I laugh, saying that he scared me again. Then he finally gives a soft laugh, saying he was standing here the whole time watching me when I didn't even notice that. He came around and we started talking together. It was mainly about him telling me how beautiful I look when smiling. I was getting blushy a lot with his sweet words, making me so comfortable. We were chatting so long that I stayed 7 minutes past my break time, so I had to leave telling him I will see him tomorrow. I remembered during lunchtime I was watching the security camera a lot. For some reason, I kept wondering why doesn't want to stay and wait for me during lunch. He gave me a feeling that I felt as wanting to see him more and more. Eventually, at lunchtime, I didn't see him anywhere outside of the store, so I spent time with Elma in the back room. The next day during my first break around 2 a.m., I ran into Mark again, but I have something curious in mind after talking to him for a little while. I notice he's been dressing in the same outfit for the last 3 days, which I have thought was apparently normal. I asked how far did he live from here when he's willing to come meet me at this time. For half a minute, he didn't answer me and was gazing down on the floor, frozen still, like he didn't know what to say. I then just brush it off by changing the subject. I ask him, does he feel scared coming here every midnight to meet me? Before he could say anything, I told him that I would be adored, because of never knowing when you run into a dead person's spirit who doesn't even know they are dead. I was joking, trying to see if I could scare him. At that moment, he just didn't say anything anymore except looking away silently. I saw him eyeing at the pole light where I'd first ever seen him. I asked if I had said anything wrong, and still he didn't answer, like he had something going on in mind that minute. I needed to head back since my break was over. Then he looked at me with both eyes opening wide while nodding. Instead of smiling, he seems to be frightening, like I have scared him. I told him I was sorry if I had said something to scare him. He just replied in short words, saying, "It's okay," though his facial reaction didn't change at all. I just left him standing there while he watched me head back into the store. That time, I thought I had scared him by talking about dead people's spirits. A few hours later, it was lunch, and I was heading back outside to my car to get my phone charger when I happened to find Mark standing next to my car in front of the driver's door, just staring inside of my car. It was weird because he wasn't moving a muscle except standing there leaning forward, looking at my car, or looking at his reflection. I just thought he was trying to surprise me, thinking he didn't leave home after what I said when he was still here waiting for me to come out during lunch. I smiled when I saw him standing by my car, trying to tell myself to apologize to him once again as I was walking up towards him. Still, he wasn't even turning around either. I was coming closer and closer, but then he stood there still like a statue. I have in mind that second he would pretend as if he didn't know I was coming out of the store. I was about to tickle him to see if he jumps, then he suddenly turns around straight up, which I couldn't do so to tickle him. This was the moment I couldn't believe who I was staring at. Mark appears to have scars around his face, like he was tortured by getting whipped by a metal stick or having been sliced around his face. Other than that, he appears even more pale than earlier. I was so scared that I froze, dropping my phone onto the ground along with my coffee cup that I just made from the store. Mark goes talking slowly and deeply like a dead person. I couldn't believe this was actually happening. I step away by walking backwards. The more I back away, the closer he steps towards me, staring at me with both eyes open wide. I notice his pupils have red veins around as he was strangled. His neck appears all purple as he was strangled by something. He just kept coming closer to me when I was crying, backing towards the storefront door entrance. Before I realize, my back goes bumping onto the front door, which made me stop there crying and shaking in fear, with Mark standing right in front of me. He leans forward closer to my face and says,
"Do you remember lying to your manager that I stole something in the store? Do you remember Veronica?"
He kept on repeating the word over and over. I got so scared that I began screaming out for my life, covering my eyes with both hands. A hand grabs onto my right shoulder, making me jump. It was only Elma who touched me. When I looked around, I couldn't see Mark anywhere, except Elma standing in front of me and asking if I was okay. She took me back into the store and comforted me after using my key to lock the front door. In the morning, I told everything to my main manager and she let me go home. On my way driving home, I remember clearly what Mark had actually meant by now. I recalled in my past life, 7 years before I started working at night, I caught a handsome young man who I have a crush on. I was so upset that he actually ended up asking one of my coworkers out instead of me, so I planned something to accuse him of stealing in the store to make him stop coming to shop here again. This led me to have a quarrel with my coworker who Mark asked out. That coworker got fired and rumors were she broke up with Mark afterwards. I remember when I was on vacation, another coworker told me that Mark committed suicide by hanging himself after whipping his face with a metal-sharp stick for losing the girl who he fell in love with. After all this year, his spirit finally came back to haunt me for being a selfish lady who cares nothing but trying to be on the top and win everything for myself. After the encounter with the spirit of Mark I, then quit my job, I live my life regretting doing so many bad things. Especially the time I screwed my coworker from left to right. I know Mark came back to haunt me as a lesson for me to understand that I need to stop being like this forever. This is why I was being haunted by his spirit. Thank you again for listening. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to friends and family to help this content grow with more videos to come.